Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Witner, and this is your NXT Takeover 25 audio report. It is Saturday, June 1st, 2019. Another excellent takeover is in the books, and might as well start at the beginning. Began with Roderick Strong versus Matt Riddle. A really good match to kick off the show, and the crowd got into it as we got closer to the finish. Riddle started the match by kicking his flip-flops at Strong, and then 3 rolling gut-wrench suplees to Roderick. Of course, kicking his flip-flops was a playoff when Strong bloodied him up on NXT a few weeks ago, about a month ago. Outside the ring, Riddle used a stair-assisted forearm smash, but eventually Strong dropped his foe with a backbreaker on the ring apron, which, I'm told, is the hardest part of the ring. Strong got the first near fall of the match with a Uranage into a backbreaker. Riddle continually tried to counter with roll-ups and attempts at the Bro Mission, but Strong would cut him off. Riddle came back with a series of kicks and the Broton, which is the running senton. Strong ducked a penalty kick, Riddle ducked an elbow, hit the go-to-sleep, and a German suplex for the 1, the 2, but Strong kicked out. They went to the top rope, and Strong hit a top rope superplex. A recurring theme throughout this night was 2 people in a match reversing and ducking strikes one another. It came to a head in the main event, but by the 3rd time was getting old. Strong set Riddle up against the ropes and did a series of running elbow strikes where he'd run off the ropes and on the way by hit an elbow. Strong, after doing that, actually Riddle came back, hit a V-trigger, a power bomb, and the final flash, but Strong kicked out of that. Strong got his knees up on a swanton, hit the gut check, slapped on the stronghold, but Riddle not only got out of it, he actually got on the Bro Mission, but couldn't keep it on due to his back. But then picked up the win with the Bro Derrick, which is a cradle tombstone pile driver, after dropping multiple elbows to the face of Roderick Strong. Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg were shown at ringside, which then led to a match which can be summed up in 4 words. Kyle O'Reilly must die. It was the Undisputed Era, the Forgotten Sons, the Street Profits, and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and a 4-way ladder match for the vacant NXT Tag Team titles. Kyle O'Reilly, I hope he is feeling good tomorrow morning, because man, oh man, did he take a beating in this match. I know this will surprise you, but this was a wild 8-way free-for-all from the word go. Fish and O'Reilly did their best early to keep all the other teams out of the ring, but that didn't work since Blake did a suicide dive essentially into the ladder that they were carrying. By the way, a lot of these problems with Kyle O'Reilly were during moves that they were with the Forgotten Sons in. It's like, if I was Kyle O'Reilly, I would be running the other way if Triple H ever told him he had to wrestle the Forgotten Sons again. Dawkins hit a nice dive off the ring post onto the other 6 on the outside. Blake, at one point, and I understand this is probably his first ever ladder match, but Blake, instead of guiding the ladder over, he just shoved it over, which caused Fish and O'Reilly to fall off awkwardly, and O'Reilly landed back first on the side of the ladder. Cutler and Blake then put the ladders on their heads and rammed it into people, which was great until Lorcan and Birch gave them simultaneous German suplexes, which caused them to throw the ladder across the ring, which came inches away from dismembering Kyle O'Reilly. I was thinking at this point, this guy needs to just roll under the ring and get away from this match. Undisputed Era used the double-team codebreaker German suplex to Montez Ford, who crashed back first onto the ladder. Somewhere along here, O'Reilly once again accidentally smashed off the ladder. If that wasn't enough for the poor guy, he tried to hold off Blake so Fish could climb, but Blake lifted him up and powerbombed him into the ladder, where Fish fell off right on top of him. O'Reilly tried to get some working revenge by using a knee bar to Cutler through the ladder, but Blake stomped on him. Cutler got the Doomsday uppercut from Lorcan, and Birch, right before Blake got the Doomsday blockbuster from the Street Profits. Suddenly, O'Reilly was in the ring all alone and realized there was a third forgotten son who hadn't killed him yet. So yes, Jackson Riker, who was the illegal man in the match, what came down to the ring, heaving Kyle O'Reilly into a ladder. And at this point, I was thinking, the last thing Kyle O'Reilly ever wants to do is see the Forgotten Sons ever again. Riker actually single-handedly laid out every other member of the match. The fans actually chanted, "We forgot you," which was a nice touch. But since Riker moved at the speed of frozen molasses and his friends and colleagues were laid out from earlier, the other six suddenly came alive and got their revenge on Riker for the sins of Blake and Cutler. Riker took a ladder shot to the face. Thankfully for him, he got his hands up. Riker wouldn't stay down, so Montez Ford did a tope, landed about 2 feet in front of Jackson, but his leg touched just enough that it looked salvageable on TV. Lorcan then hit his own tope, which hit squarely. Lorcan and Birch gave Dawkins and Ford a ladder sandwich, and then heaved the ladder at Cutler and Blake. They began climbing the ladder, and at this point, they were basically the only team that the crowd hated. They got knocked off. At the finish, saw Fish, O'Reilly, Lorcan, and Burke squaring up the top of the ladder until they got pushed over by the Forgotten Sons. Cutler and Blake climbed the ladder. And do you remember, 10 years ago when Drew McIntyre was the chosen one, and every time he'd be in a Money in the Bank match, he got the biggest heat in the world when he'd come close to winning? That was almost what happened here, as the fans really did not want to see these two win, and thankfully, they only came this close to winning, as the Street Profits knocked them over, climbed the ladder, and got the belts. The Street Profits, in their first takeover, in their first ladder match, win their first NXT Tag Team titles. The crowd, and this is just because they hate the Forgotten Sons, the crowd was really into the Street Profits entrance. Love these guys, and the new champs celebrated in the crowd. Velveteen Dream was out next to defend the prestigious NXT North American title against the returning Tyler Breeze. With all due respect to Charlie Caruso, Mauro Ranallo, and Tyler Breeze for that matter, Charlie and Mauro both at different points called this a dream match. As someone who watched the entire Tyler Breeze NXT era, and I reviewed about 400 or so NXT episodes over the years, I can confirm that that is a stretch. The fans were more into Dream, but they did do the dueling chants of Velveteen and Breeze is gorgeous. Dream was wearing these gold pants, which were not tights, and they were not tight, at the very least, and he spent half the match continually pulling them up. Breeze used a rolling half crab, which Mauro used to shout out Lance Storm. There were some rough spots as Dream bumped off a punch that missed by 5 feet, but they quickly regrouped. Outside the ring, Dream nailed a super kick, which teased a count out. Dream slammed him face first on the table, and then, in an act of treachery not seen in quite some time, Velveteen Dream did the ultimate heel move. The most heinous of backstabbing double crosses that you've seen since the plans for the Revolution were sold to the British back in the 1700s. Velveteen Dream took Tyler Breeze's cell phone and the North American title belt and took a selfie of him and a fallen Breeze with Breeze's own phone. I know, right? Tyler came back, nailed a supermodel kick, but when they rolled in, he got hit with a Dream Valley driver for a near fall. Dream rolled through a flying crossbody for another 2. They reversed and sidestepped each other's moves until Tyler got a 2 off of a supermodel kick. Dream reversed the unprettier attempt into a Dream DT, Dream went into the corner for a purple Rainmaker, but Breeze first grabbed his ankle to stop it, and then crotched the champ when he did get to the top rope. They did a series of tombstone reversals, and Dream went up top for something, but Breeze threw a drop kick to stop him before Dream ever dove. Not sure if that was a planned spot or not. Everyone covered up for it pretty quickly if it wasn't. Morrow covered up for it super quick. Dream didn't sell. He just quickly moved on to the next thing. Breeze hit another supermodel kick, finally hit the Unprettier, which everyone bought as a finish, but Dream kicked out. Out of nowhere, Breeze did hit his beauty shot, but Dream rolled to the outside of the ring. And that's where we got to the finish, where Dream went to grab the North American title belt, but Breeze got it from him. The referee saw it and snatched it away from him, which distracted Breeze, leading to Dream nailing the Dream Valley Driver, and the Purple Rainmaker for the pin to retain the strap. Now, this was not the NXT Tyler Breeze of 2014 and 2015, but it was so much better than the Tyler Breeze of 2017 through now. And after the match, Dream and Breeze made up and took a selfie together. A video package for Damian Priest aired, and so he should be debuting soon on the NXT roster. Not sure if they're going to call somebody up that he's not going to be replacing, or he's just going to be one more body. And actually, in case you're curious, Damian Priest is the former Punishment Martinez. Then we got the NXT Women's title match as Shayna Baszler, 216 days into her second title reign, puts the strap on the line against Io Shirai. Shayna showed complete disrespect early by not even bothering to go for full force strikes when she had the opportunity. That ended when Io obviously did not have a problem with striking Shayna. Shayna did stomp down on Io's elbow, which once upon a time was an injury angle on Dakota Kai and is now just a spot to get heat. Baszler worked on the elbow of Shirai, which at least made sense, since Shirai now had difficulty using her throws, but doesn't do a whole lot, honestly, to set up the Kirifuda clutch. Shirai used a 619 and a missile dropkick for a near fall. Shirai locked on the crossface, which 12 years later still never fails to be awkward to watch in her match. Baszler got out of it and hit a back suplex. Baszler stood on the middle rope and did a hanging wrist lock, which looked nasty. Shirai hit a picture-perfect moonsault from the post to the floor, which got the crowd into it. Shirai hit the running double D's in the corner and was about to go back up top when Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir stormed the ringside. Unfortunately for Marina and Jessamine, Candice LeRae followed with a kendo stick and laid them both out. Shirai did get out of an attempted Kirifuda clutch and hit a palm strike. Baszler almost got it on a second time, and Shirai got out, but got locked on a third time, or on the third attempt, and that was too much for Shirai as she was forced to tap out. After the match, Shirai laid Baszler out with a kendo stick, a normal moonsault, and then a chair-assisted moonsault. So this feud must continue. The fans chanted, "You deserve it" at Shayna when they showed the welts on her back. Now, you might remember that on August 31st, there's a little bit of a wrestling show going on. May or may not be broadcast live from Chicago. May or may not be All Elite Wrestling's second pay-per-view. Well, never let it be said that WWE isn't spiteful and isn't trying to one-up perceived competition, because Saturday, August 31st, live on the WWE Network, is NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. Now, in the interest of fairness, it's going to air at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and should end long before All Out actually begins. But that is going to be a long day of wrestling for fans. And if you're sitting at home, that's going to be a lot of great wrestling to watch that day. Stephanie McMahon was shown sitting at ringside. And then we got the main event. Johnny Gargano, the NXT Heavyweight Champion of the World, one-on-one with Adam Cole, baby. Rapper Josiah Williams rapped Adam Cole to the ring. I thought that it might be to discourage fans from screaming Adam Cole, baby, but seconds later, Cole led the crowd in that chant. Another instant classic. Personally, I think the New York match was better. Perhaps I'm just biased because I was there, but if you thought this match was better, I promise not to fight you about it. Gargano did have his supporters, but the majority of the crowd was behind Cole, and Gargano, at least when they did the ring introductions, actually got booed at different points. Cole was going for big moves early, which Gargano just kept getting out of the way of. After that, it slowed down a bit. They fought outside, where each missed just about everything they tried, until Gargano finally used a rolling senton off the apron. Minutes later, Gargano used a double foot stomp to the arm of Cole, which was draped on the apron. Cole finally got the heat with a super kick to the knee, which caused Gargano to fall off the middle rope, which he had ascended to. And Cole actually followed that up with a missile drop kick to the knee, which, if nothing else, is different. Gargano used a tornado twisting STO, but couldn't get the full impact of it with his knee being the way it is. Cole kicked out of the slingshot spear. Then, not sure what on earth he was going for, but Gargano leaped backwards up the middle rope and got caught with a backstabber. Cole used a burning hammer across his knee for a close near fall, which the fans didn't really buy as a near fall, but they did the really close to count, but as if it should have been. They went super kick for super kick in the ring, with Gargano hitting one when Cole came off the middle rope for the win on that spot. Then they rolled out of the ring and ended up with a draw in the super kick contest as they hit simultaneous super kicks to lay each other out. Gargano used a slingshot DDT into the ring. Cole tried to kick Gargano's leg out of his leg, but Johnny moved. Seconds later, Cole hit the Ushigoroshi outside the ring, hit the Ushigoroshi inside the ring, but Johnny Wrestling kicked out of that. Cole somehow turned a Gargano escape into a figure four, which tortured Gargano's already injured knee, but the champ was able to roll over and reverse the pressure for a few seconds until Cole ended up in the ropes. Cole pulled down Gargano's knee pad to kick at it some more. Gargano came back and went for a suicide dive, but Gargano seemed to trip up on the ropes, plus Cole then took his head off with a super kick. Thankfully, Gargano appeared to be okay, and hopefully that was... I mean, obviously, Cole hitting a super kick was a planned spot, but I'm not sure if the whole getting caught up on the ropes was. Cole did a jumping Panama Sunrise, which is the Canadian Destroyer on the floor, which Gargano eventually kicked out of when they made it back into the ring. Gargano went for the Gargano escape. Cole reversed that into his own Gargano escape. Gargano did not tap out and instead was able to hit Cole's last shot, which Cole kicked out of. Gargano hit a reverse Rana. They threw a number of super kicks that even the Young Bucks would be envious of, and Cole took Gargano's head off with another last shot. Thankfully for Johnny Wrestling, he found his head, screwed it back on, and kicked out just in the nick of time. Cole got frustrated, so he went for a chair. Referee Drake Wirtz followed him outside and told him no go on the chair. Gargano went for a suicide dive, but Cole pulled Drake in front of Gargano. A quick exchange saw Gargano hit a super kick into the chair, into Cole's face, but there was no referee. Cole signaled for the Undisputed Era to come out, which may have just been to throw throw Johnny Gargano off since no one came out. Cole hit the pile driver for a 2 count. Cole went for the last shot again, but shades of Bret Hart versus Diesel, Gargano collapsed, but was playing possum, as when Cole came over, he got locked in the Gargano escape. However, Adam Cole was not Diesel. Cole got out of it by elbowing Gargano in the knee, and then Cole hit a Panama Sunrise. He hit a last shot, and ladies and gentlemen, Adam Cole cleanly pins Johnny Gargano and becomes the 16th NXT champion. Seth Rollins, Big E, Bo Dallas, Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre, Andrade Cien Almas, Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and now joining our illustrious list is the only 3-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, your new NXT Champion, Adam Cole. The show ended with the Undisputed Era celebrating with Cole in the ring. The King is dead. Long live the new King. And that wraps it up from here. So I want to thank you all for listening. And stay tuned on Wednesday for the next episode of NXT. Until then, take care.